there, come join the show. Let's talk the highs, the hurt, the glow. She's got the mic and we've got the night. Let's live out loud, let's get it right.
Hello there and welcome to another episode of the Tox Drop. I'm your host, Maggie McIntyre, and I'm so glad that you're here today for part one of a two-part episode and interview with makeup artist and overall badass Sheriz. Sheriz, welcome to our show. Sheriz, like I said, is a makeup artist. She's also an esthetician. She's an entrepreneur. She's a mom, and she's a graduate of our school, NVLET. So we are so glad she's here today to dive into all the things that she's experienced and what is making her or has made her who she is today. So let's drop in. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much for being here. So we're going to get right into it. You're a small town girl. You grew up in the small town of Stanton, Virginia, spelled Staunton, but if you went to school there like I did, or you live there, it's Stanton. So you grew up in Stanton. No one in your family had gone to college before. And so you, at a young age, knew that you were going on to do bigger and better things for yourself.
Yes. So my mom, she actually did go to Blue Ridge, but she didn't get like a 4-year degree. So I went to VCU and got like my bachelor's, and I was the first in the family to do that. So
That's awesome.
yeah, they were very like proud of me too, because they were teen parents. So I felt like being from a small town, like very judged all the time, very like you have to be perfect. There was a lot of judgment on your parents for having had you at such a young age? I feel like there were other teen parents, but it wasn't like super common. So yeah, like my mom would tell me like she would always have to make sure like I'm behaving like better than like anyone else's children, because like she is held to a different standard because she's a teen mom.
Right. You don't want to be proof that they were right.
Exactly.
Right? That they made a mistake. They couldn't handle it. They didn't know what they were doing. They maybe should have given you up instead of raising you. That kind of idea.
Right.
Well, you certainly proved them wrong, didn't you?
Yeah. We're a business owner now.
Exactly.
So.
Good for you. So leaving Stanton, I mean, it's an adorable town. I went to school there for 1 year, Mary Baldwin. Yeah. And it's adorable. It's really grown a lot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But going there to VCU, which, I mean, there are tons of big universities that are in more rural locations, but you were right in the smack dab of like a city.
Yeah.
Did you feel intimidated by that?
I don't feel like I felt like too intimidated. I felt like so excited. Like when I went to DC for the first time, I was like, oh, this is like intimidating.
Right. This is big time. Yeah.
Yes. But like for VCU, I was a little intimidated because people said at first, like, it used to be like the murder capital.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's like,
a long time ago, Richmond was.
Yeah.
I want to say like Churchill was like a really rough part of it.
And I lived near there at one point. Yeah. I did not know that was, I lived in Shockoe Bottom, if you ever heard of that.
Yes, yeah.
Girl, yeah, it was crazy. I didn't know that at the time. So I just like moved into this cute little apartment. It was safe for me because like the security and stuff.
Right.
But I was like, oh, wow, like I see why like they say it's a little unsafe. But when I was there for the first 2 years, I felt so safe. Like they have a thing called Ram Safe, and then their VCU police presence is very heavy. So,
well, and I mean that the city itself, I mean, of course it has those rough areas, but it really has changed so incredibly much.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool city, really cool place to be, but definitely different from the rural small town that you were in. And you went into pre-med. You were a pre-med grad, right? With your 4-year. So we go from pre-med, now we're into makeup artistry. We're going to get into that in a minute. But we're still working with people. We're still working with, sort of hands-on human body. What is it that made you kind of gravitate or go in that direction?
Yeah. Well, I felt like the way there just felt kind of boring. Like I worked in a lab at first. And I was just like, wow, like this, it was fun. Like touching rats weren't as fun, but
I did not know you had to touch rats.
Yes,
oh, yeah. Okay.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it had its moments and I was just like, wow, like this just seems very slow paced and it might just be like a generational thing too for me, like being a Gen Z. But I was just like, yeah, like I want to be a mom eventually. And it was going to take me a long time because I went to be a plastic surgeon.
Right. So
yeah.
would you say a slow pace, or that when you looked at the length of time you had to commit, was that what was too much? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I was just like, you have to do 8 years of residency, 4 years of med school. I already basically the 4 years of undergrad, like I was like, that will be a piece of cake. But everything afterwards, I was just like,
becomes too daunting, especially when you look at the big picture.
Yeah.
And I think too, from a young age like that too, instead of understanding, like break it into little bits. Do you have any aspirations of going back, do you think, or with the trajectory you're on now, you're going to stay the course, or have you thought maybe one day I'd go back and finish?
I feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be now. Like this feels more authentically me because like when I would go home, I would literally just always do my little siblings' makeups that were all girls. And they loved it. And I just had fun. Like I never thought of it as a career. It was just like, let me just doodle on your face.
Right. It was like a passion and fun.
Yeah.
Where you are now is where you're supposed to be. And where you are right now is as a makeup artist and the owner of Makeup by Sheriz. And your focus is, it's been in a few different places when it comes to makeup artistry, but your dream or your hope is to continue and really focus on brides, destination weddings, things like that. So let's talk about getting into that. It started off as a hobby, it sounds like.
Yeah. And my mom, I always wondered, I was like, why did you not share this interesting fact with me sooner? Maybe it would have saved me some time. But she told me that when I was younger, I actually used to paint lipstick on all the picture frames of like people's lips. And I was like, I feel like it was always meant to be. It was like always there.
The creator.
Yeah.
With makeup artistry, I know that you're interested in doing weddings and having that be your focus. But as far as the initial getting started, the inspiration for that, you were doing that before you even realized you were doing that because you didn't even remember that, it sounds like. So you're doing that kind of thing at home. And then you had younger siblings that liked for you to do their makeup.
Yeah.
Okay. So you go to school, you're doing a 4-year program, pre-med. What happened between the 4-year and I guess where we are now that led you to say, you know what, I think I could do this as a job? Were you doing it as a side hustle?
No. So right after I graduated is when I got pregnant with my daughter.
Okay.
And I always knew that I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom when I did decide to have kids. So I was a stay-at-home mom for a while, but then I was just like I just don't like not having the feeling of feeling control of my life.
Right.
So I was just like, I just feel like I need to like make money, but I also like want this dream of being a stay-at-home mom. So I was like, what can I do to give me like that type of financial freedom? Like give me both. I was definitely like at a really low place in my life during that time. And like I would talk to people about it. And like most of the time they would just listen. But there was this one girl, she was just like, why don't you try like makeup? Like you're really good at it. And I was like, I never thought about that because like, I just seen it as a passion. Like, I didn't know people were actually making money off of it. And she was like, yeah, like, you should give it a try. So I, like, looked into it. And I felt like aesthetics, like, doing esthetician school would, like, help me, like, understand, like, the skin and the skin prep because I knew that was important.
Right.
So that's why I did that. And then I just continued to do that while I was in school.
Yeah, just learning and expanding on that. So were you the type of person then that just when it came to going out, you would go all out for your makeup before you got into it? Were you were putting it on, loved the artistry that it was involved with that and did your own makeup and were just really into that? Okay.
Yeah. And even like when I worked at Hooters, I was so used to like doing my makeup like all the time. And like people would say like, you never just like come here to do your makeup. And I'm like, no, like I'd rather sit in like my bathroom.
Right.
And, like I really just like enjoyed the process, enjoyed doing it.
Sure.
And then like when I actually made the Hooter calendar too.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's not everybody gets that. Isn't that like the whole country, all the girls, right?
It was a big deal for me.
That is a big deal.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But when I made that, I was like, they said that they had a makeup artist. And I was just like, I think I'll do my own makeup.
Right.
I hope I'm not like that on my wedding day. Maybe I'll hire someone, but I don't know. Yeah.
But it's something that you just, excuse me, you've really enjoyed. I mean, people that get into aesthetics, I mean, will say the same thing. They really enjoy cleansing and the masks and the steam and excuse me, just creating that environment at home. So you get this idea from a girlfriend who's saying, why not give makeup a try? Control your own universe, your own destiny in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
What did you have to do to go from something that you enjoyed doing for yourself and for your family, maybe friends, to then actually becoming an artist? So did you start advertising yourself on social? Did you go off and buy a bunch of supplies? Like what were the steps that you took?
So first I started studying other makeup artists, and I'm like, other like people that I looked up to, and I'm like, what are they doing? So I would like go to their Instagrams, and I would look on them and be like, okay, like they're doing like videos of like full tutorials before and after. So I'm like, okay, this is what I need to do. This is how many models I'm going to do this month. So I would gather my models, and I would do like similar content, like film a whole like tutorial. And then I would like have them model. Like, I'm like, girl, pose this way, pose that way. And then they're doing it. And then I posted it. And then I realized too, like the type of glam that I was doing at first didn't really coordinate with like the type of clients I was trying to get. So I switched that up too. And then eventually I wind up hiring a mentor, which really helped my business out. Like it fast tracked it.
That's amazing. Mm-hmm. And I want to get into that because people don't talk a whole lot about mentorship or paying someone to be a mentor. But I have known other people that have done that. They've had like a business coach is what I'm thinking of. So we don't talk a whole lot about that, but they're there and they're there for a reason. And they're there for people, whether they're just starting off or if they're successful, just as sort of a guide to keep them on the straight and narrow. So, that's still really impressive though, that you knew to go and get all of these models. Was it just people that you knew that would come in and do that? That's really cool.
Yeah. I just like people from college, friends, family.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you went to a trade show, I think you were telling me. So tell me about this trade show and then how you met your mentor, and you're still working with her today, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me about that.
So I went to the international, I can't remember the exact name.
I know now I'm thinking of it. I know what you're talking about. So like IESC or something. Yeah. The International Aesthetic Conference.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I went there and I went to like almost, I think like all the booths. And there was this girl there and she was gorgeous. And I looked at her makeup and I was like, oh my God, like you're so pretty. And I love your makeup. And she was like, yeah, I'm a makeup artist. And I was like, no way. Like me too. Uh-huh. And she was like, yeah, I'm based in Miami. And I was like, that's so cool. And I wind up following her on Instagram. I didn't know that she was like a coach or anything. So I just like, she told me that like she did like Cardi B's makeup and just like a bunch of other like big celebrities.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I definitely need to follow this girl.
Right. Yeah, get some tips.
Yeah, exactly. Let's study her.
Right.
So I wind up following her, and then I seen that she did offer coaching and like mentorship. So I like looked at how much it was. Well, it actually didn't say how much it was, but I knew at the time I couldn't afford it.
Right.
But I actually, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to have you as my mentor one day. And I kept telling myself that. I'm big in affirmations. And I was like, Lena Zanika is going to be my mentor.
Right. All right. So, Lena Zanika, shout out.
Yes, girl.
Yeah. Hey, beauty lovers. If you've ever dreamed about turning your passion for skincare into a career you love, listen up. At Nova Laser and Aesthetics Training, we don't just teach aesthetics, we build futures. Our hands-on training gives you real-world experience with the latest in technology, skincare techniques, and treatments. Whether you're obsessed with facials, lashes, or helping others feel confident in their own skin, our expert instructors will guide you every step of the way. You'll graduate fully prepared to pass your licensing exam and ready to thrive in this fast-growing beauty industry. Enrollment is now open, so if you're ready to glow up your career, visit NVLET.com to learn more and schedule a tour. That's NVLET.com, where future estheticians start to shine and where science meets beauty. So we'll get into how that was able to happen in a little bit, because I know we've got some more of your story in that regard to share. Mm-hmm. But as your mentor, she gave you some really solid, what are the core, like maybe give us 2 or 3 really solid pieces of advice that she gave you that fast tracked your business?
Yes. So one thing that has stuck with me, I actually went to one of her master classes in New York. And one of the things that really stuck with me that I do still struggle to live by this day, but it does stick to my head. She said that men separate their emotions from their business. And she said as women, like it is hard because like we are like more emotional, but she said allow yourself 72 hours and that's it. Like your business can't afford for you to have a whole month or a couple weeks like
of being down.
Snap back after 72 hours.
That's
so
it's
that
smart.
was real. Yeah.
I think too that that's why, you know, a male boss, a male leader, I mean, people might say he's an a-hole or a jerk, maybe, but they're much more easier, it's far easier to call a woman in that position a bitch. And it's really just a woman that is driving the train and really trying to move forward without that emotion, which creates a softness and an appeal. But when you're in business and when you're serious about it, you do understand that you can't have that emotion because you can't operate a business with constant emotion. You have to be able to put it off on the shelf. You know, you do. And I don't know about you, but over the years, like I feel like it's hardened me because of that.
Yeah.
And I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't like that. But then then it comes to those quiet moments and those special moments with friends and family, loved ones, or a story that I hear. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm still sensitive, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But on the day to day, it's like, the people I work with, some of them have been through some rough things or are going through some rough things, and you want to be empathetic to it. But you can't get too terribly involved either because you still have the business to run.
Yeah.
So for you, it's the same thing. And you've got the mom side to you, this young little thing at home, this little baby at home. And that's, a lot of emotion tied to that, but you've got to be able to separate those things in your life. And then, like she said, when things are rough and you're having an emotional day, you've got to be able to cut it off.
Yeah.
Yeah. What other piece of advice has she given you?
Staying like looking like you're busy, or I don't know how else to word that, but
looking like you're busy even during the times that are slow.
Right. Just because, and not even, I guess, looking busy per se, but like people forget about you. So that was her thing, is she was like, if you aren't popping up on people's screens, like people are not just randomly thinking of Sheriz or Maggie. Like they're like, okay, like the random girl that's on her feed right now. So yeah, in order to stay on the top of people's minds, she would say is consistently post. And she would say like, you need to post like 5 to 6 times a week. And like being a mom, I'm like, how do I do it? Yeah. But I mean, people do. So
how much are you posting a week?
I haven't been consistent recently, but for me, I average around like 3 to 4 posts. I haven't mastered like 5 to 6.
Right. Well, you'll get there. I mean, you're still growing.
Yeah.
But the consistency of 3 to 4 is important. So if you can get that, and with Anna, she's got some tips and tricks for business owners too. So she can give you some more information on that, because it can give you sort of like a calendar and a guideline, which will be helpful.
I will need to meet with her for that.
Yeah. So, off the coast plug there, creative for their content and help with that. But you're already doing a great job. Just the fact that you have 3 or 4 and you have this business that is successful. You're doing really well with it.
Yeah.
So you finish your 4-year degree. You're living in Richmond and you end up surprise pregnancy. So this want of motherhood that you talked about came a lot earlier than you planned. So things had to shift. You ended up leaving Richmond and moving further north. And then you had moved further north, and then you began the makeup artistry, pursuit. Talk to me about how that's gone. So how long have you been doing that for now? What's the total amount of time you've been doing it for?
So I decided in 2023, October 2023 is like the exact month that I decided that I was going to be a professional makeup artist. And then like a month later is when I signed up for esthetician school. And during that time, I booked my first wedding in July.
That's amazing. Yeah. July 2024? Was it?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So it's been like a solid year of you doing that. Okay.
Yeah.
So first wedding was July 2024.
I guess like almost 6-7 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
So booked that, and then but you were still in aesthetic school during that time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that was a smart move though, going back, getting that, because it's an extra license under your name. I think it gives credential to you. And again, if you're working with people, ahead of time, talking to them and consulting with them, if you meet with the bride months ahead, you can give her that advice if she's got some skin conditions or issues, ahead of time.
Yeah.
So did you like doing the bridal look? Did you find that first booking kind of ignited something in you?
Yeah, I loved it. I loved just like the energy. It felt like fairy tale, like literally. But at first, like my very first wedding, luckily I knew her. She was like a family friend, but I still felt just very like, probably because it was my first one, but just very like nervous. Like it was like intense. And I was like, yeah, it's going to be $100.
Right. Which is nothing.
Nothing
a drop
at the time. I was
a
like,
drop in the bucket.
Yeah, I thought it was so expensive at the time that I was like, oh my God, she's going to hate me. But no, I'm like,
I'm sure she was
only
very
charged
happy.
$100?
Yeah.
No, yeah, hindsight, I'm like, you only charged $100. That's crazy.
It is crazy.
Yeah.
How many hours did it take you?
It took me an hour per person.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how many people did you have with that party?
Bride plus 5.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That is a lot.
Yeah.
My gosh. And did you charge $100 per person or for
Okay.
Well,
even for the bride.
Okay. I mean, that's really low, but I was thinking, please tell me you did not charge $100 total.
No, that would be crazy.
That would be crazy.
Yeah.
But still, if you think about that, that's $100 an hour. I mean, and that's,
so I was okay with that.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, especially, just starting, I think that's great. And that you're able to do that. So good for you.
Yeah, thank you.
And I mean, makeup artistry, we've had another guest on our show that has done that and worked with different clients. But your preferred client so far, because you've worked with a variety of people, has been brides or bridal parties. So where do you see your business going over the next several years? Do you want to really be bride focused?
Yeah, I eventually want to own a team. I would like to own multiple, like one in Fredericksburg, one in DC.
So like multiple, like having a team of other artists.
Yeah, just so they don't have to travel so far. So I was thinking like a bridal team in Fredericksburg and then a bridal team in DC.
Would the team be just makeup artists or would it be like hair as well? So
both hair
and makeup. Very cool. All right. So having a team stationed there. And do you get a lot of requests from brides? Would you say that's the most popular request you're getting for makeup?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Majority brides. Yeah.
Okay. And then you talked about, too, expanding. So you want to build your teams. And right now, I know that you are sometimes joining other teams.
Yeah.
Right? Being a part of that. So what has that taught you in this? Have you learned a lot from that?
Yeah, I definitely have. Even just being like a leader, like there's this team in Richmond that I work for. She's just like such a great leader and like she's taken me under her wing. Her team, I just love. They just feel very like Southern charm. Like very just like
just warm. Nice and warm. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and that's great because you can emulate a lot of what they do, and they're their own team. She's got her own business and certainly her own brides that will come to her, and you can develop something over time on your own too. That's positioned in maybe a little bit of a different area, but take a lot of lead from that. So good leaders are invaluable.
Yeah,
really
and
important.
It's showing me like what I should be like and act like when I become a leader.
Right.
I mean, I feel like a leader, but like a leader of a team.
Yeah, that you have people working for you.
Yeah, because it doesn't feel like. When I work for her, it doesn't feel like, oh, like I own you. They're working for me. Like it feels like, yeah, we're like all a big family.
Right.
Like we're just a makeup artist and hair family.
Yeah, we're coming to, well, and that's being part of like calling it a team is that all of you guys are supporting each other. So if everybody's doing what they're supposed to, then there shouldn't ever be the need for a leader or this person to act any other way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Sheriz, thank you so much. This concludes the first part of our interview. Be sure to check back and drop in next week with us so we can get into part 2. So join us next week as we dive into the story of how Sheriz was, unbeknownst to her, left an entire estate and a client's will. And it is that allowed her to really launch her business. It's an amazing story made for movies. Be sure to check back in next week. Thanks so much for dropping by.